Yeah, this is pretty cool. And it's something that we usually don't talk about here on the show, but I'm going to kick it off here. So
Do it.
this is more for home theater fanatics. And basically, if you guys haven't been around for a while, there's been a pandemic, and actual theaters have taken a huge hit in the pandemic because basically they couldn't have people there. So LG is looking to capitalize that with a high dollar, high value entry into this marketplace, which is basically their direct view LED panels. And these things are actually pretty cool. And there's an LG link here, to their website, as well as part of an article I think that was here on Engadget, which shows some of the material in action, right? And these panels are pretty cool. So they have a 325-inch direct view LED, okay, and it's a TV, and it's basically a wall. And basically, what they're saying in these developments is they have 81 inches to 325 inches. They're made up of millions of LED diodes. Okay, these things will have anywhere from a 2 million to 33 million pixel count. And they're talking about ratios from anywhere from, I think it's 16:9 to the ultra stretch of 32:9, which is a little different because they're saying what you're basically be able to do is have two 8K content wide angle screens. And we'll have a picture of that here in a minute. That'll work simultaneously if you want to have multiple views. Now, the other caveat here is that these things are said by LG themselves that they will be able to do, without question, 8K, 4K, and 2K resolutions. And when you go to the LG website, the other thing is the price. These things don't come cheap. They're going to be coming in at $30,000 and up. It will come with 2 free visits per year to check up on the screen health. But when you look at the overall designs of what they're talking about, here is the big ultra wide, dual ultra wide for multi content viewing.
Cool.
Which is,
Really
I mean,
cool.
I want it.
The use of it.
Yeah. So this is their 294 inch display, right? And then they have one of the basic displays, which is the 4K 163. Okay. Then they're going to say there's the 4K Ultra HD 217. Then there's the dual 4K Ultra Stretch 393. And then finally, you have the 8K massive 325-inch direct view screen. Now, one of the major differences here, we're not talking about some sort of projection device at all. This is not what we're talking about here. What they're talking about here is multiple panels that are going to be stitched together to create these fine screens. Now, I'm a huge home theater buff. I could see like taking a wall of mine and doing this, and if I had the money, like first thing on the lottery list. What's your feeling on it, man? What are you thinking?
It's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm wondering. Obviously, there's going to be people that have a lot of money that will buy this for their home use. But I'm wondering where these products will end up first in a public space. And I guess I'm saying that's so we could check it out if possible.
Right.
But something like that, I mean, you have to also know, like the Megatron or the Jumbotron at, sports game, that doesn't have this definition. Thing is way past that. So
right.
And as Mike even said in the article, they talk about some of the maintenance fees, these $30,000 fees to check, and now obviously if $30,000 checkup for your TV is a bit high out of your price range, they even mentioned, tongue in cheek, well, you could maybe settle for the rollover version of one of these, which is just a straight OLED for $100,000.
Yeah, well,
if I had to.
If you had to.
So it's fascinating. When I usually talk about these products that are a bit unattainable for the layperson or with, not just crazy amounts of money, I always kind of think, okay, fine, put it aside, but what can I take away from it? And I take away with the tech. Like, where's this tech going to show up next? Outside of these kind of pioneer kind of products where they're obviously seeing who will foot the bill to kind of make other stuff with these.
Right.
That's what companies do with it. They make the tech, they make some crazy products that are very impressive, but some people can buy. And then they're going to take that tech and go somewhere else with it. I want to see where they go, where else it goes. So that's my thought.
Yeah, I guess, the other thing is if you're a big gamer, right? And what they basically have here is they have their brochure that you can download. So I'm just going to throw that up on the screen as well. And they give you the sample sizes, 9 sizes in the full this is the 2K full HD range, which is 9 sizes from 81 inches to 217. The dual 2K Ultra Stretch from 147 to 393. The 4K Ultra HD, which is 163 inches to 325. and then you finally have the other sizes, which are the 8 sizes in the dual 4K, which are 294 to 589 inches, and then finally the 8K Ultra HDs, right? Now the cool thing is that sounds great, but now I also want to talk about something else. What are their actual real, what's their luminosity? What's their refresh rates?
Contrast. So
What do they support? Will they support, I'm sure they got to support different inputs and so on and so forth.
Yep.
They do come with a 4K controller. There's lots of other information out there, but the ones that say I would geek out on, like looking at some of those other pieces of information, those are the ones that I really would want to know before,
of course, yeah.
before I would throw in the money. Well, and then guess what? Right down here, they do say nits. They do have brightness. We're talking about 800 to 600 to 500 nits of brightness. But right now, what I don't see in the listing below is the hertz at which they're going to actually run at. And again, how they're going to handle standard HD content, what their upsampling rate's going to be, and stuff like that. So is it worth the price, though? If you're a big gaming guy, I mean, projectors need rooms that are not, specifically bright rooms, and they do struggle sometimes with rainbowing and green screen, not green screen, but screening effects. So what do you think about direct viewability is just in size-wise compared to those?
I think you kind of hit some of the stuff on there. It's like we say, sometimes with products on the show, like, what are you going to use it for? What's its purpose? And if someone's buying this for personal use, and as you mentioned, gaming, well, we're talking like what kind of games? We're talking about high refresh rate, like you said, good contrast, no artifacting. Since they are LEDs, like, I mean, they're massive, right? So a bunch of dead pixels on a giant screen. I mean,
that would suck.
What are the chances the quality control is going to pick up all of the defects before it heads out the window or heads out the door?
Right.
I mean,
No, you're right, you're
these are valid things. I mean, it'd be a hard press case for me, like, as a gamer, to on a screen. Like, why? Because
I have only
for
one
one thing
instance.
too, right? If you guys are hardcore gamers, and maybe you just let me have a chat about that, right? But if there's a certain distance from the screen you need to be,
Right.
so you can easily see the whole screen, even if you're peripheral vision, and pick things up quickly to have an edge, And so if the screen is just so big, you'll either need to sit way far back so you can see the whole thing,
Right.
or it's not going to be used for you, just on screen size alone. We're not talking about hertz and all that. So it's, I don't know.
So here's my feeling. No, to answer that question, in gaming, right? In this picture that I just came up back on screen, this is from the LG website, and this is the massive 8K 325, and I'm going to assume
she's 30 feet from the screen.
Yeah, she's 30 feet from the screen, but I'm going to assume that this setup probably goes for, let's just say, $300,000. Okay, let's just throw that out there arbitrarily, right? But the thing is, now what I would build for this particular setup, I would have a sim cockpit in the middle of the room and use that as my main exterior view, right? That's what I would do with it. It'd be like, or
on
sim
a fully
racing,
movable platform, obviously, right?
Yeah, of course, right? but basically build my own simulator, right? That's what I would do with it. But you're right. How much would really be valuable to the eye when you're actually gaming? Because I've gamed on 120-inch projectors before, and there's an advantage to it and there's a disadvantage.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a bit.
Screen that big that's not wraparound for a sim is kind of
interesting. Okay.
I don't know. Yeah.
So hey,
for discussion. Yeah. What you guys watching the show or watching the stream later? Like, what do you guys think? I mean, price not an option. I mean, what would you do with this? Or what would you want to do with this? Right. And I know I say price not an option. Everybody's gonna be like, well, yeah, of course I want it. But what are you gonna do with this? What do you?
Movies, obviously, right? If you're a big movie buff, like I can see you sitting home at night and gathering around with a bunch of friends.
A new house to have a screen that big. Most people. And I'm not. I mean, just throwing it out there. Like,
I would just
need a whole wall.
No. I'd build a new media. I'd build a new media room outside that's bigger than the house. That's all.
Perfect. It's perfect. Money's not an option. Just exactly. I'll build another house for my TV.
And another house just for the TV
why
and
not?
The cars.
Right. Case closed.
Perfect.
What's the problem?
Movie night in the backyard.
Movie night in the yard.
Yes.
The yard is the movie theater.
There you go. We could do that. It's doable. And yeah, let us know in the comments below what you guys think. I think it's an exciting proposition for the future of televisions to finally break free of the bond of having a projector to reach these screen sizes.